Sikhism, what are the tools, ideas of how to overcome your own ego, essentially?
Yeah, addressing and managing ego is definitely a huge element of Sikhi. It's there are like there's several different things, but yeah, ego is a really big concept because we believe that your ego, this idea of self and self-importance, it it hinders you from really like having that connection with the greater universe, with the oneness, because you're so focused on you. When, like you said about like the Matrix, like a lot of this is can be seen as, or asked if this is an illusion and if this is even real, or just like putting too much emphasis on ourselves or even other people. So going back to the Jedi, right? Personal attachment is something the Jedi are supposed to manage. It's the same in Sikhi. And I think that does go to ego as well, because we think like, oh, I'm so important that I need these relationships in my life. And I value these people so much. But these, in Sikhi, we view these as deterrents from the true connection, which is with the divine. And so humility is a big component of Sikhi in a way to tackle ego, and selfless service is our way of reminding ourselves of what other aspects of the universe there are and what other things matter. Like and this isn't to come off in a negative way, but like we don't matter, right? Like we do matter, but we also don't matter. Right? Everybody matters, but at the same time, like nothing matters. And that's kind of that's a big piece of Sikhi, where it's like there is and there isn't, everything is, but everything also is not, because like that's just everything in this universe from a Sikh perspective is temporary, other than the divine. The divine is the one eternal being, one eternal entity of the universe. Everything else is completely temporary. You and I, the earth, the solar systems, we all, and this is all science, right? We know that like, people are going to die. The belief is that eventually the universe will collapse in on itself. So everything is, as far as we know, temporary, other than the divine and the Sikh belief. And so to get hung up and to focus on all of these ultimately, irrelevant concepts or ideas, and worrying about some of the pettiest issues in our life, it's all in the Sikh ideology is it's a waste of time. Instead, we should be spending that just connecting to the divine and embracing that bliss that comes with it. Because chasing after money and cars or materials, and even like investing so much in relationships, all of these concepts, they, one, do affect our ego, our value of self-importance, but two, they are temporary, and so they don't actually give us true fulfillment within the Sikh belief. That's the way we view it, is that, yeah, sure, I could have trillions of dollars and I could have everything I need, but when I die, that doesn't go with me, or everything else will disappear at some point, even if I'm still alive. And so it doesn't really fulfill, right? It all kind of is just what's the word I'm looking for? It's not sugarcoating, but it's just kind of like, I don't know what the word is. I'm losing my thought right now, but like,
I get it. I think you're trying to say is it comes in the way. It's like it's this idea that, oh, I can hold on to this phone and then a new phone comes. I can hold on to this holiday and the holiday's over. Like it literally just filling our time and realizing that actually you still remain unfulfilled, like what you're essentially saying to me. And I think that's a massive part, even in Jainism, like we say everything is temporary, everything is transient, apart from we would say the divine is our own consciousness, like our souls are part of that divinity. So that's the only thing we'd say is permanent. Everything else is completely temporary. The body that we're in is temporary, as you just said. And it can be quite a depressing thought if you didn't have that other element, the whole divinity and that whole connection. And that gives you that joy, that fulfillment. And that's when you actually have true fulfillment. And it's something that you spoke about, selfless service or seva. I think you might call it something similar too. That's true fulfillment. And every time I go to the Gurdwara, I'd have the langar, and I'm so full I can't eat for 2 more days. But you feel that real selfless service, that real massive compassion, that massive pot of love. And the Sikh community, I've always been notorious for being so selfless in their service and being of service at all times. And that's again another way to break down the ego, or to show compassion, or to remove yourself and just be present for somebody else. And I think that, so because we have this idea of volunteering, but it's not volunteering. Like it's seva is you every single day. It's how you live. It's like an attitude. Would you suggest it's more of an attitude rather than an actual action, right?
Yeah, I mean it's I love that point you brought up, because we do kind of contextualize seva. Even Sikhs, we contextualize it as like volunteer work or charity and things like that. And that is part of it. You can consider that seva for sure, but seva is just a consistent giving of not even just material items like money or food, but like of love, like really just embodying that divine energy and living a life in that way, to me, is seva, right? If I'm walking around every day and even I just show love to people, that it brightens their day just a little, couldn't you consider that seva? You're helping people, you're helping the world feel more happy and with more positive energy. I can consider that seva, even though I'm not doing much, but it's an element of it. And one of my favorite things about going to the Gurdwara is when I'm eating langar and there's like a little kid doing seva. She or he is like giving out rotis. It's just like, I don't know, it makes me so happy to just see that. It's just so cool to feel, because like to me, kids are the purest form of human. And so just them embodying that concept of seva and just giving out roti, and you just see the smile on their face when they're doing it. It's just one of the best things in my day, honestly.